My father told me my life would be blessed with good fortune. I'm married. I was a good wife. And then was judged and shamed by my country.
I say before all of you, I spoke the truth.
Unspeakable charge has been brought against you.
Jacques le Grace entered our home. He attacked me.
The accusation is false.
I am telling the truth.
The truth does not matter. There is only the power of men.
This should be settled quietly.
I'm innocent!
I request a duel to the death.
If you lose, your wife will suffer dire consequences.
One of us has lied. Let us let God decide.
You do not believe me.
I am risking my life for you.
You are risking my life so you can save your pride.
The Last Duel is a historical drama movie set in the Middle Ages, specifically in France during the 14th century, where laws allowed two opponents to duel to death, and the person who dies in the duel is considered guilty. The story of the movie The Last Duel, the first chapter of the truth in the novel by Jean de Carouge. After serving in the Carolines War, Jean de Carouge and his squire Jacques le Grace swore allegiance to Count Pierre Dalinson, whom his cousin King Charles VI called Overlord Jean. Jacques later told Jean de Krogh that Count Pierre had ordered his new followers to pay the war fees, and when Jean told him he did not have sufficient funds to pay, Jacques had agreed to intercede on behalf of Jean with Count Pierre to facilitate his payment. To regain his finances, Jean marries Marguerite de Thibauville and receives from her father a large dowry and rights to many valuable estates which he owns. Charles King dismissed the suit brought by Jean de Krogh. Pierre takes revenge on Jean by appointing Jacques to command a fort that the Jean family has kept for generations. But after a military campaign in Scotland, Jean is honored as a knight for his bravery, but is penniless. One day when he returned home after a visit to Paris, Margaret told him that Jacques had raped her while she was home alone. Knowing that Pierre is protecting Jacques, Jean nonetheless decided to challenge Jacques to a duel to the death, and King Charles VI agreed to grant him this request to clear the name his wife. Chapter 2. The Truth, according to Jacques le Grace. Jacques won the confidence of Pierre, and the reason for this was his good knowledge of accounting and the regulation of the Count's finances, which earned him a great position at the royal court. Upon meeting Margaret, Jacques falls in love with her and is convinced that she loves him after she shows him kindness. During Jane's absence, his mother takes servants to help her with errands, leaving Margaret alone in the castle. Jacques goes to her and makes his servant knock on the door, claiming that his horse has thrown his horseshoe. The man may enter so that he may mend his horseshoe and not freeze in the cold, but soon Jacques follows him into the castle and then gets down on his knees and sincerely declares his love for Margaret. But she insists that she is married and orders them to leave. So Jacques throws his servant out of the castle and chases Margaret to her bedroom and has an affair with her. But he thinks that she is satisfied with this and that she does not love and admire her husband, and before leaving he advises her not to tell her husband. Later Pierre tells Jacques that Jean accuses him of raping Marguerite, and because the Count has tried to exercise his power over Jean, Jean takes his case directly to King Charles and asks Jacques to duel Jacques to the death. Eventually Jacques accepts Jean's challenge. Chapter 3. The Truth according to Madame Marguerite de Thibauville. Margaret and Jean's marriage is strained by her failure to conceive, and after meeting Jacques, Margaret informs her friends that she has only shown him kindness in an attempt to win over her husband's court. When Jane left for Scotland, he ordered her not to leave the castle or let anyone in. Jean's mother takes all the servants with her on a mission despite Jean's opposition to her exit. Jacques appears with a servant who deceives Margaret into letting them enter the castle. Jacques arrogantly expresses his love for Margaret, and upon her escape makes his way to their bedroom where he rapes her. When Margaret's husband returned, she told him what had happened, and Jean's mother later insisted that Margaret should drop her charges and abide by whatever consequences might occur to her, so that her son would be relieved of the court's ruling. But at Jacques' trial, a pregnant Margaret insists on telling the truth, even though Jack's protector tries to claim that the affair was consensual. And eventually Charles VI agrees to Jean's request to duel to the death. But the court also decides that Margaret will be burned to death if her husband loses the duel. And this angers her and confronts her husband, who knew about it from the beginning and did not tell her, and insisted on the duel to avenge his enemy because of the political dispute between them. Margaret gives birth to her son days before the duel begins. The duel begins in the presence of the king, count, and nobles, and Margaret stands tied up in the middle of the ring, waiting for her to be cremated in case her husband loses. Jean and Jack duel until the two men lose their horses and fight side by side, and despite Jean receiving serious stabs Jane, but he eventually manages to pin Jack to the ground and demands that he confess and face conviction. But Jack claims his innocence and kills him. Jean basks in the glory of his victory as Margaret quietly follows him. Then a textual epilogue reveals that Jane died fighting in the Crusades a few years later while Margaret continued to administer his estate and lived peacefully for the remaining 30 years of her life and never remarried. Information about the movie The Last Duel. Casting: Matt Damon, Benefolk, Adam River, and Judy Comer. Directed by Ridley Scott. Screenplay: Matt Damon, Benefolk, Nicole Holofsner. Presentation date: 2021. Running time: 152 minutes.